Max managed to get himself a job as a guard and only worked night shifts. However, he had only been free for about half a year when his new girlfriend that he had after being let out reported him to the police for stealing from her. He had apparently made copies of her credit cards and had stolen tens of thousands of dollars from her, which got him arrested again. He will be serving another 10 years for fraud as a result. It all started after my husband and I got a divorce. I was working on my undergrad degree and not employed at the time, focusing all of my time on my studies. I quickly found myself in a situation where I desperately needed help. That's when I moved in with my brother Max and his wife Martha. It wasn't the best situation, but at least I didn't have to worry about much other than finishing my degree. It was only a couple of months staying with them that I got the opportunity of a lifetime at the local government office as a paid intern. The job even included grant money to cover my college expenses. Pretty soon I was making great money and happy to help out. Apparently that wasn't good enough. One day at work, I decided to treat myself with a nice lunch at the sushi bar across the street.
That will be $24, cash or card.
Well, I don't think I have that much in cash, so I'll run it as credit, please.
Very well. Insert or swipe your card when you are ready.
I think nothing of it as I insert my card. That is until it starts beeping.
I'm sorry, miss, but your card was declined. Will that be cash then?
Unfortunately not. I know that I only have about $10 cash. I do apologize, but I'll have to cancel my order. So here I was, hungry and irritated. I stomped back across the street, hands deep within my pockets. I had spent my entire lunch hour trying to get a good bite of food. It just didn't add up at all. How could the card be declined? Luckily, the rest of my shift flew by without issue, and I couldn't have been any happier to see the clock strike 5 p.m. That night, I ignored both my brother and his wife and went straight to my room and opened my laptop. After logging into my bank website, I started to notice charges that didn't make any sense. There was a charge for yoga lessons. I certainly don't have time for those. Another for car accessories. I don't have a car either. These charges had to be at least $50,000. I was outraged. I had noticed that Max's Mustang seemed to be looking nicer, and all of a sudden Martha was heading off in the middle of the afternoon a few days a week. Luckily, I was able to extend my line of credit by $1,000.
Martha, isn't the concert you want to go to in a couple of weeks?
You're right, Max. I had almost forgotten about that. If we go, though, we'll need to get the car ready for such a long trip. We will also need to get new clothes and a hotel for a couple of days.
You're right, my dear. We will just have to borrow the money from my sister. We both know she's way too busy with work to notice anything anyway.
Martha thought she was being sneaky and apparently assumed I was asleep that night. She snuck into my bedroom and decided to borrow my card once more. Little did she know that I had caught her doing this more than once. I continued to go about things as if nothing had happened. Little did they know, I had a plan. It's a really good thing that I wasn't interested in seeing that band with them. I checked my credit card account every evening after work, and I watched the credit line keep getting closer and closer to maxed. About a week later, it was time for their trip.
Bye, sis. Have fun at work, and please don't make this place a disaster zone while we're gone. Also, I need you to catch up on the laundry and dishes while we're gone.
Oh, and also, I think the dog decided to chew up your work shoes, so yeah, ciao.
Their trip was taking them to the other side of the country, and Max's car didn't get the best gas mileage. It wouldn't be long before trouble started to present itself. About 4 hours into the trip, I got the phone call I was waiting for. In the meantime, I had made sure to get the chores finished that they had so politely asked me to do.
Hey, sis. I hope I'm not keeping you from anything. I need your help. Yeah, we ran out of gas and, the card isn't working. It keeps getting declined. We don't have any cash either.
Are you talking about my card? The one that you keep stealing money from me with?
I have no idea what you are talking about. How could you actually accuse your own brother, your own flesh and blood, from stealing from you?
Don't play dumb, little brother. You assumed that I was way too busy with my work and schooling to notice your lovely wife coming in at night and snatching my card?
You're being absurd. Martha would never do something like that. You know me, I would never do you wrong. Hell, we allowed you into our home because you were in a bad place. If anything, you owe us that money.
So you admit it then. You just admitted to stealing from me. I could hear Max stammering. trying to find a way to cover his tracks, and I could also hear Martha screaming at him to fix things. Before long, she decided she was going to take the phone from him.
Listen here, you ungrateful little brat. This is all your fault, and you are going to fix this, or else I want you out of our home by the time we get home. Do I make myself clear?
Oh, don't worry, sis. I read you loud and clear. I'll be out by the time you get back, and those chores are finished, by the way. Have fun figuring it out. I felt like a giant weight had been lifted off of my shoulders. I had already made arrangements and signed for an apartment closer to the government office. It didn't take long to pack up what few things I had, and I left their home with a smile on my face. Not to my surprise, I got about a block down the street when my phone started ringing again. I decided to ignore it the first few times, but it quickly got out of hand. Yes?
Hey, it's me again. I'm really sorry about what Martha said.
I'm sure you love having me there when I'm constantly cleaning up after you two and your disgusting dog. I don't think so. I've already left and I won't be coming back either.
We're literally stranded in the middle of nowhere, and your card won't work. Surely you can find it in your heart to help. I promise. You'll never have to do any more housework. You won't even have to help with the bills.
Do me a favor, pull the card out of your pocket and flip it over. Look at the name on it. I can hear Max shuffling around in his windbreaker pocket to find it. Then I can hear him let out a very displeased grunt.
What? You switched your card out with mine? You know that I overdrew that account years ago and just didn't get around to throwing it out. How could you?
Maybe you should have thought about that before deciding to help yourself to my credit. I hung up the phone and turned it off as I walked the rest of the way to my new apartment. Without furniture, it seemed a bit bare, but the feeling of being completely free and on my own more than made up for it. Within a month and clever bargain hunting, I had turned that apartment into my own little slice of paradise that I wouldn't trade for the world. As for Max and Martha, it seems as if they had to resort to selling the Mustang after a couple of days to be able to eat. I know that was hard on my brother because he loved that car more than he did anything else. They didn't even get enough out of it to repay the debt he owed me for the accessories. It wasn't even enough to get them back home. I found this out when I turned my phone on a couple days after they left, and I listened to all of the threatening voicemails left. The cops also felt them to be threatening and gladly decided to give them a ride home. Well, at least to the jail. I was able to get the credit card company to reverse the charges by proving that I was at work or school during the time the purchases were made. They also helped me file a separate lawsuit against the couple to cover my costs. While Max and Martha are in jail, Martha filed for and was granted a divorce. After Martha was released, a good friend of mine said that they saw her working at the local gas station and scraping by to pay off her fines and debt to me. Max managed to get himself a job as a guard and only worked night shifts. However, he had only been free for about half a year when his new girlfriend that he had after being let out reported him to the police for stealing from her. He had apparently made copies of her credit cards and had stolen tens of thousands of dollars from her, which got him arrested again. He will be serving another 10 years for fraud as a result. I have since graduated and have excelled with my internship, that I have a permanent position and a very nice salary. I have even adopted the cutest pup that I have ever laid my eyes on. It may take 25 years before I get repaid for the debt owed to me, but it seems that my brother and his now ex-wife will be dealing with the consequences for the rest of their lives. Also, I hunted down Max's Mustang and paid the man twice what he bought it for. It's now my daily driver and I love it, except for long drives. It still doesn't get good fuel mileage. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.